Hi, good evening, or I should say good night, right, to everyone and to all the attendees. And I want to say a special good evening to PG, President General, and our chair, Ms. Gajida Innes. And Ms. Whittier, you're so on point. I got excited when I heard you quoted 149, speaking to nurses. Thank you very much, which is predominantly a female profession. So, we have some challenges and concern when compared to the medical officers who are predominantly male. And of course, they earn higher than the nurse would earn. And when you look at the hours that a nurse would spend on an area, it's quite more significant when compared to our male counterparts that are doctors. So already you see that disparity there taking place. So I will go right into my presentation. I want to be succinct. So health received $6.395 billion, the second highest right after education. The past, we would have fallen, I think it's third and fourth. We were fighting between third and fourth, and national security had one of the highest allocations contending with education. So everybody would say, yeah, man, that's a big round of applause. Health got 6.395 billion and they should be happy. But one of the things that we will realize, there is a disconnect between the allocation and the priority in spending when monies are allocated. One such example, in 2020, October of 2020, the Prime Minister announced that there will be a freeze of filling all vacancies in the public sector. And he said that the reason for this is because they keep allocating funds for this, but it's not being used, and it's being used other places. So then, if TTRNA, who's the Nurses Association, since 2016 has been lobbying for vacancies to be filled, and the Prime Minister is now coming to say he's freezing all filling of vacancies in October of 2020, then who's telling the truth? Right? The RHAs are saying they had no money, and the Prime Minister is saying monies were allocated and yet it was not spent. So we are seeing some disconnect in terms of allocation for health and the priority in spending and where it is placed. Yes? Another such example, if we look at St. Anne's Hospital, for all those who are mental health professionals, we know that within the St. Anne's Hospital, there's a unit called the forensic unit, where persons who come to be evaluated, who would have been arrested and so on, and have to be evaluated. Almost 2 years now, that building is currently under renovations, and the forensic unit is being temporarily held in another unit. And I have spoken, and other members of my union would have spoken to the past hospital administrators, and they always say that when monies are allocated to health, mental health often gets the least allocation. And for those who are mental health professionals, you would see that we have more female wards than male wards within St. Anne's Hospital. Yes? We have quite a few females coming in with depression and so on. So you can see if there is not a proper allocation of resources to one, filling vacancies, and we know, especially in nursing, it's predominantly female, what's going to happen? Our nurses are on short-term contracts and temporary situations, which put us at a disadvantage. When we go to financial institutions, we cannot afford a mortgage, we cannot get loans. So of course, this negatively affects us. So that's one point. I'm going to go quickly. So we would have loved to see more investment in the budget allocated to primary health care. So those who understand health and those who do not understand, they would know what primary health care is about. Those are the community, persons in the community who are supposed to deal with preventative measures so that you wouldn't have to come to the hospital, which we call secondary care. So these are the persons who will help you stay healthy in your community. What we have seen, nothing really allocated to that. What we have seen as well is that in September, there was actually a removal of a subsidy for the training of district health visitors. These are key persons who you would have traditionally seen giving vaccines. So who you seeing giving vaccines right now, mass vaccination sites? Vets, dentists, pharmacists, the DHVs, or the district health visitors, and the community nurses. Those are the persons who would traditionally give vaccines. Yes? So we would want to see a return of the subsidy. I want to come down, because I only have 1 minute, and we can have some more conversation, down to incentives for frontline workers. Recently, Guyana made a big announcement. What? $400 million was allocated for one-off payment of frontline health workers. What happened in Trinidad? We gained a promise that they would give us permanent employment, what we are really due. But what have they really put in the budget to reward and incentivize their health workers who have been working tirelessly since March of 2020? And we can have more conversation on that in our discussion section. And last but not least, what happened to the National Health Insurance Plan? The People's National Movement would have announced the National Health Insurance Plan in 2015, that this was going to be instituted by December 31st, 2018, which recommended access healthcare for all at both private and public health institutions. But no word of it in every successive budget in the past, nor any word of it in the 2022 budget. So in a nutshell, we have some very important and critical points that I would have loved to expand on, but I would do so in the discussion. So thanks again for giving me the opportunity to present this evening.